Welcome to this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. I'm your host, Patricia. Our mission is to bring you experts and relevant topics that will help you understand the art, science, and timing of real estate, because after all, your home is your biggest asset. Joining me today is Christopher King. Christopher is the marketing director for Coldwell Banker Bain's Bellevue Way office in Washington. Christopher has an amazing background in marketing for large retail corporations and now is specializing for the last few years in real estate marketing, both at the corporate level and at the individual broker level. Christopher works with brokers about marketing their listings and themselves to reach buyers and sellers in new and traditional ways. Welcome, Christopher.
Thank you, Patricia. Great to be here.
Thank you. So this real estate market has now come from the doldrums over the last couple of years to a great market. You know, things are moving along. Things were selling before, but not to the volume that they're selling now. Inventory's low. Sales are just booming. So where are buyers finding properties to buy? Things have changed over the last couple of years. Technology has revolutionized many industries, but it's really revolutionized real estate. So where are buyers coming from?
Well, buyers are coming to realtors and real estate brokers largely from the internet. More and more buyers are finding their broker on the internet, but they're also finding property listings on the internet, as we know, and that's been the trend for quite some time. There are still buyers finding listings via yard signs as they drive around their neighborhood of choice, but mostly they're finding their property, their target property, either from their broker that they're already working with or from the internet. Now, what the internet allows them to do is see as much information as they want prior to contacting their broker or networking with a broker for the first time. What happens is the broker can give valuable information to that buyer that they're not going to find online. And then the broker is going to help carry them through the process. In this hot market, that broker's responsibility to that buyer, who may have found their preferred home on the internet, is extreme, because in a competitive bidding situation in a hot market like today's, that broker is able to lead through a multi-offer situation the way a buyer is going to need help with. Sorry.
I know when we have open houses, the first, after we say our hellos and talk about the house, my first question is always, how did you find us? And I would say 9 out of 10 buyers that walk through a house say, we saw it on the internet. So for the brokerage side, which is the side that I specialize in, I know that the internet presence or the digital presence is really what's the next phase. We still have to do the traditional things like mailing postcards and doing open houses, but in order to get the people to come to the open house, we have to have an internet presence. So what are you finding? What ways are you guiding brokers to get their digital presence up?
Well, that's a great question, Patricia. There are myriad places for brokers to be with their businesses online, but there are also myriad places for them to put their listings online. And so as I work with brokers, I try to coach them to have a presence in multiple places with different focuses. If they're marketing their own businesses, we want them to maybe have a presence on LinkedIn so that there's a professional networking aspect. We are a professional services industry. We want to make sure that we're shining in that light. Also, we want brokers to consider having a profile on some of the real estate forums. There are some great real estate verticals, which are websites that specialize in targeting to buyers or sellers. Some of those verticals might be Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com, and we want our brokers to be there as well, whether they're responding to buyers' questions in a forum or whether they're just there with a photo and a contact information. Some brokers will associate themselves with their listings on those websites where they have an enhanced listing product, and that's always a good place to be too, because you're going to come up a little bit higher in the search results as buyers look for properties in your target area. Now, brokers who are digitally marketing themselves you may be doing it with blogging or social media, and social media is more of a interesting space right now because brokers are communicating potentially with prospects and clients, but it's more of a casual, laid back approach. We encourage not be super salesy. It's really just about who you are and what you're doing and being active in the community. But again, when it comes to those real estate forums or anything specific to real estate, we want them to have a strong digital footprint and a strong presence and a strong voice that's authentic to their business.
So my last question here, what I'm getting from you is, we as brokers need to show up in more than one place, but we don't necessarily show up the same way in each of those places. And our message may be slightly different. So on LinkedIn, we may talk about some general professional background. On Facebook, we may talk about what's going on in the community of Bellevue. And on our listings, we may be the real salesy, or in the open house, the salesy side. So we want to be multidimensional.
Absolutely. And I think just, Patricia, you point that out perfectly, that just as a listing is going to have different marketing or different message from a listing across the street. So a home listing, this may be, it may have a hot tub and a graduated backyard that's really somebody spent a lot of time landscaping. And you might want to address that in that property marketing, but then across the street, somebody else is going to address the fact that, it has a mother-in-law situation perfect for an au pair or truly a mother-in-law. And so, and similarly, you might place those listings in different outlets. So just as we're actively marketing listings in different media and forums, we're going to do that with ourselves as well.
Well, terrific. Thanks for joining me today, Christopher. We'll be sure to see next week because we have some more information on what sellers need to know when marketing the property and picking a real estate broker. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching part 1 of our conversation with Christopher King. Join us again next week for part 2 when we finish our conversation with Christopher and learn more about real estate marketing. Thanks for watching this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. Whether you are buying, selling, or sitting on the sidelines, keep watching for important information on topics that are impacting your biggest asset, your home. To learn more about this and other shows, please visit us at northwestrealestateforum.com or check us out on Facebook. While you're there, be sure to order your free copy of Neighbor Law, Fences, Trees, Boundaries, and Noise by Cora Jordan. You'll be surprised at what you learn. I'm your host, Patricia Wangsness. See you next time.